Hare हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा माता जी। हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srishti, Smriti, Prabhuji, Mataji for nice kirtan, melodious kirtan. We will now.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, this is Sukakar Krishnadas from Chennai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, welcome to the program. So
I was
nice
very
to
happy.
see you
I
here.
was very happy. Shruti Mata is doing such a wonderful thing. I thought I would join and bring more people here.
Wow, that's so nice. So, yeah, we have just started Bhagavad Gita and yesterday
2.18. 2.18, no, today 2.18.
No, this is not 2.18. That is a different this thing, Prabhu. This we have started a new class yesterday.
Oh,
Yesterday
for
we
first
had it.
verse. Very good, very good.
So
Please,
today
please.
is the first chapter will start from Bhagavad Gita.
Super, super, super. Wonderful.
Yes. So he is Sukakar Krishna Das Prabhuji. He is a very, very senior god brother of ours and very, very highly elevated in Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji. Prabhuji was also in Dubai before and he conducts many, many classes. He's a chartered accountant by profession, and now I think he's retired and doing the service only for preaching. So he does so many wonderful programs, morning till evening, one after another. He has classes after classes.
Till 2009, I was there, Shamadesh.
Yeah.
And I love all of you so much. You are some wonderful devotees. I really like your attitude, the humility, the bhakti and shakti, everything. So you are my heart.
Prabhu is like our elder brother.
Yes.
And he always keeps blessing us by his mercy and by his love, care, affection. And he's also a role model for us. He's very, very humble devotee and always engaged in preaching. And so we get a lot of motivation from Prabhu. Recently, I met Prabhu in Mayapur.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. I could not attend your daughter's marriage. I was feeling sad. Your son's marriage. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhu, with your permission, we'll start.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So, we'll do the prayer to seek the blessings from all the, when we are reading the Bhagavad Gita or any scriptures. So before doing any scripture reading, we do the prayer. And yesterday also I told that doing the prayer means we are asking for the mercy from the Lord, so that whatever we are speaking is as it is, what Krishna wants to tell us. We are repeating the same words, same meaning of those words, what Prabhupada has written in his purport. We try to repeat the same thing with the same mood. And also, we should get the intelligence to understand the Srila Prabhupada's purport and Bhagavad Gita, and also to be very useful in our talking. Whatever we are speaking should be useful for others, for our and it should also be good for our purification. The Bhagavad Gita reading is not like we are reading like a novel, or we are reading like in a story book. Of course, there is a lot of stories here in the Bhagavad Gita. Like it's a part of Mahabharata. Mahabharata itself is a great story book. But we read Bhagavad Gita because it is Krishna's word and Krishna has spoken. So we should have enough intelligence to understand also what Krishna is trying to tell us. So as I told yesterday, that there are many copies of Bhagavad Gita, but we read Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's, where he has given the purport, which is called Bhagavad Gita as it is. And why this Bhagavad Gita is so special? Because Prabhupada has tried to keep the mood of the speaker. What Krishna is wanting to teach and tell, Prabhupada is also repeating the same word in the same mood to us. So that is the reason this Bhagavad Gita is very, very specific, very special for us. And we learn a lot of things from here. What Krishna is really wanting to teach us, wanting to tell us. Because this is a message of Krishna. So we should try to understand what Krishna is wanting to tell, not that we start interpreting our own thing. Oh, I think Bhagavad Gita is like this. I think this is there, Krishna means like this. So there should not be any interpretation in this understanding. We should try to understand. That's the reason we discussed yesterday that we should learn the Bhagavad Gita through the disciplic succession, through the parampara, because then we preserve the mood of the speaker. And when the mood of the speaker is not preserved, and that is when slowly the knowledge gets like it get depleted. So that then Krishna has to come and re-establish the knowledge. So with all these things, with the right mood, we should read Bhagavad Gita. Now, somewhere Prabhupada has also written, when you're reading the Bhagavad Gita has yesterday I told the three people have spoken. Where Krishna speaks, it is called that Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Where Arjuna speaks, it says Arjuna Vacha. Where Dhritarashtra speaks, it says Dhritarashtra Vacha. Or where Sanjay is speaking, it says Sanjay Vacha. So where Krishna is saying, it is said Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Shri Bhagavan means it doesn't say over there Krishna Vacha. Because they have accepted, Vyasadeva when he was writing, he has accepted that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is how when we understand the Bhagavad Gita, the God is talking to myself. Bhagavad Gita is a letter from the God for us, for each individual. Krishna has written this letter for every individual. And when we read this letter of Krishna, and we feel nicely that, oh, it is all for me. This words of Krishna, this message of Krishna is directly for me. Many times it happens, most of the time actually it happens when we hear the lectures, when we read Bhagavad Gita, oh, this is Krishna speaking for me only. Okay, I am like this. And Krishna knows my heart, Krishna knows my mind, and Krishna is talking to me. So for each and every individual, this is a letter which Krishna has written for each one of us. So it is a very, very special where Krishna is talking to us in the form of Bhagavad Gita. As yesterday we discussed, that there are 54 questions Arjuna has asked and Krishna has answered all of them. So Arjuna's questions were all what question is there in our mind. And those questions being answered by the Lord. So who is Krishna? Theoretically, at least we should understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. Bhagavan means, Bhag means one who possesses. And one means, Bhag means, opulences. Bhagya, Bhag. And one means who possesses. So Bhagwan means who possesses all the opulences. So there are 6 opulences. And in the material world also, you will see people are recognized by those 6 opulences. Like somebody is very famous, somebody is very, like too much strength he has, somebody is very knowledgeable, very, very intelligent, somebody is having a lot of money. Then somebody is very, very beautiful, very, very attractive. We are attracted by the beauty. We are attracted by the wealth. We are attracted by the strength. We are attracted by somebody is very famous. So there are different things, these things attracts the people. And Krishna possesses all of these things in complete. He has all these opulences, and the 5 opulence and 6th is the renounced. Even though he has all the opulence, he is completely renounced. And how do we know that Krishna is very renounced? Sometimes we feel that when we hear about Krishna, that, oh, Krishna is so attached. He used to talk to the girls all the time and he used to play like this. So but Krishna is very, very detached, very renounced. And how, like if a person, and because Krishna loves us so much. So Krishna, who is having all these opulences in complete, is playing a role of chariot driver for the Arjuna. And we all know being a chariot driver means a very menial service. How many of you want to become a chariot driver or the car driver in your future? Admire to become, no, I want to become a driver. None of us want to become a driver. By something, we don't get proper education or we don't have anything, we become. Nobody aspire to become a driver. right? But Krishna became that because it's not a very prestigious job. And for a person like Krishna, who is the proprietor and controller of the entire universe, not only the one material world or one is this planet, rather the entire universe, he happily accepted to become a chariot driver. So it means that how much he loves his devotee, he is ready to do anything. He doesn't keep his head very high. Oh, I have to be like this. You all have to come and worship me like this only, and you have to do all this. No, Krishna is controlled by the love of the devotees. So at least when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is talking to us through the Bhagavad Gita, so the Bhagavad Gita will sink in our mind more easily, because it is not any ordinary conversation. It is a conversation of God to us, and where he is trying to teach us different things to make our life happy. Why Krishna wants to teach us Bhagavad Gita? What was the purpose of Krishna to teach? Because he wants to see us all very happy. He is the father, like any other father who wants to see their children very happy, and they make all the effort that my children should be happy. They should be very prosperous. They should be very happy. They should not have any difficulties. They should not have any miseries in their life. And for that, the father is ready to do anything. Similarly, Krishna is the Supreme Father. And he also wants all of us to become very happy. We should not have any misery in our life. And to remove those miseries and to make us all very happy, Krishna is trying to teach us Bhagavad Gita. So today, again, we will have some prayer here. And after doing the prayer, we'll continue the chapter 1. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivan Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamshacha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swamin Iti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagar Gramatarine Hare Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, as we discussed that it was spoken in between the Mahabharata. So when Vyasadeva was narrating, because it's a part of Mahabharata, it had happened in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It was spoken to Arjuna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So when Vyasadeva was writing Mahabharata in between, because Mahabharata is a very large epic story, so many 100,000 verses are there in Mahabharata. So when he was describing everything in between, then the battle came. Before that, the Bhagavad Gita was there. So Bhagavad Gita is also the part of Mahabharata. But since it was a direct instruction of Krishna, it was taken out from there and kept as a Bhagavad Gita. Gita matlab, it is a Geet. It is a song sung by the Supreme Lord. As I say, it is a letter by Supreme Lord. It's a song sung by the Supreme Lord for each one of us. So I'll give you a little bit like a prelude of why the Mahabharata had happened. So there was a Kuru dynasty long back. And in that dynasty, there was a king named Shantanu. So Shantanu had married once. He was going near the Ganga, and he saw a very beautiful lady, the Ganga Devi, coming out from that water, and he got attracted, and he wanted to marry the Ganga. So Ganga said, I will marry you, but you will not ask any question to me, because Ganga was a celestial girl. And she had, as I told yesterday, ki Ganga doesn't belong to this material world. This also has come from the spiritual world. So she said, you will not ask any question, whatever I do. So Shantanu was very attracted to Ganga. He said, okay, I will not ask. So after some time, Ganga, with the Shantanu and Ganga, there was a child born. And when the child was born, Ganga took that child and put it into Ganga. So Shantanu became very, he became very upset that this is my first child, and why my wife is going and putting that child in the water. But he had promised not to ask any question. So he didn't ask any question. Then the second child happened, and again Ganga Devi went and put it in the water. And then third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh child, she put it in the water. Then the eighth child, when he was born, then Shantanu could not resist himself. And he said, why are you doing this? Every time when the child is born, you go and put the child into the water. And I am bereft of any children. I don't have any children, even though I had so many boys. So, but Ganga Devi said, I had told you not to ask anything. Now, since you are asking question to me, I am going back. I will not stay here anymore. And I'll take this child also, which is the eighth child. And she said, but don't worry, when the time will come, I'll return this child to you. This one child I'll give back to you. But right now I'm taking this child. And Ganga Devi went, and again she went and she took the child with her. Shantanu became very upset and very sad. Ganga Devi had left and he had no child. So again, but he was a very strong king, and he had conquered so many places. So one day again he was going through a river, and there was a nice smell coming over there, and there was a lady, and Shantanu got attracted, and she was the girl of a fisherman, daughter of a fisherman. So Shantanu got attracted. He started going and meeting that girl. Then, and he proposed that I want to marry you. Then she said, I will ask my father. So she went and asked her father, the fisherman, that the king Shantanu wants to marry me. Then the fisherman said, I will not allow you to marry my daughter. Why? Because you already have a son, and when your son will become king, and my daughters, if the children are born, they will not get any position. What is the point? I don't want to give my daughter to you. So Shantanu became very upset, and he again came back. By that time, so many years had passed, and once Shantanu went to near the Ganga, he saw a small boy, and he was throwing the arrow, and through the arrow he had stopped all the waves of Ganga on all the four sides. So he saw that was a very charismatic boy, and he didn't know that he's my son. And then he was thinking about, if my son was there also, he would be like this. That time Ganga Devi came and said, he's your son. His name was that time Devavrata, and he said, I am returning your son to you. And now he was there in the, with me in the heavenly planet, and I have given him all the shiksha, and he's very nicely, he knows all the scriptures, and he knows all the military art and everything. He's well trained now, and I'm giving it back to you. So Shantanu became very happy, and he brought that boy home, and they started living. So when this Devvrat knew that my father has started he's not very happy. So one day he asked his father, what happened? Why you are looking so sad? So he said, no, nothing has happened. So he asked his chariot driver, where does my father go? Why is he so upset? I want to know. So this chariot driver said that your father, he told this is how he is attracted to a woman and Satyavati, and his father is will not. I will not be sorry. He said. So he's but his that girl's father is not ready to marry because he thinks that you are already there and you will become the king, and when the children will be born with Satyavati, they will not get any position. So this Devavrat was so strong, and he said, I will take a vow today that I will not be a hindrance. I will give up. I will never become king. I just give up this position. So he went to Satyavati's father and he said that you give your daughter to my father and I promise you that I'll not take this kingdom and I will make your children only the king. So his father said, it's okay, you don't become, it's fine, but what about your children will come and claim? So he said, okay, I will not marry also. So that time he took a vow that the whole of my life, I'll be like a brahmachari. I will not marry. I will not have any children, and I will never claim this Kuru dynasty because he was the eldest son. He had a right to become the king, but he gave up his right. He said, no, I will not become the king for his father's sake. Since then, when he took this vow, all the devatas started showering the flowers, and it was a very, very strong vow. That is why his name became Bhishma. Very Bhishma, like Bhishma means very strong vow. Since then, he got the name Bhishma. So after this, the Shantanu married with Satyavati. Satyavati had two children, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada was very nice. And once he was having a fight with the Gandharvas and he was killed over there. He did not marry. But before his marriage only, he got killed. Then Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya was not having a very good health. But he was married to two daughters, Ambika and Ambalika. But since his health was not very good, after some time, he also passed away. So now the Kuru dynasty had no children, no son. So the Satyavati, before her marriage, she had once met with Vyasadeva. Sorry, he had a son, and he had met with the Parashar Muni. Yes, and with the Parashar Muni, there was a son born, and his name was Vyasadeva, Muni Vyasadeva, one who has written all the scripture. The son of Satyavati and Parashar Muni. So Satyavati thought, now what do I do? They don't have any child in my kingdom. What do I? And both the daughter-in-laws are all like childless. What do I do? And we need to have the child to run the dynasty. So she called Vyasa Muni and she said, you impregnate these two, your brother's wife. So there was not required this physical relation, but Vyasadeva was a great sage, and he was very reluctant to do that. But then she said, I order you as your mother, and you have to do this to save the dynasty. So when Vyasadeva came, so Ambalika, the first time when he went in, Vyasadeva was a sage with a long beard and like his face was very like what you call fearsome. And then when Ambika saw that, and then she closed her eyes. And that is how when the Dhritarashtra was conceived, he was born as a blind child. Then Ambalika, he went into the room of Ambalika, and Ambalika, when she saw the face of the Vyasadeva, she was also very fearsome, so she got very frightened. So when the Pandu was born, he was also having a very poor health. So these two sons were not very good for the dynasty. Vyasadeva knew that. So he wanted to impregnate one more, but none of these two were ready because they were already very scared of Vyasadeva. So Ambika told, next time when he came, then Ambika told her maid servant, you go in front of Vyasadeva now. So when she was a very brave and she could bear, and that is how the Vidur was born. The third child was Vidur. So that is why it is said that Vidur was a brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Of course, he was not from the Kuru dynasty, but he was a brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So Dhritarashtra was born as a blind. And so since he was blind, even though he was the elder son, but he could not become king, because to become the king, you have to have all your faculty completely okay. You should be good in all the physically, mentally, health-wise, knowledge-wise. Since he had this disqualification, a person who, it is said that a person who cannot take care of himself, how is going to take care of others? A king has a responsibility to take care of the people. So since Dhritarashtra was born blind, he could not become a king. Pandu had to become the king. Pandu was a younger brother. So Dhritarashtra was very, very sad, because he thought that he'll become king, and he was an elder son. But since he could not become king, this desire of becoming a king was there always in his mind. So Pandu knew the desire of the Dhritarashtra. So Pandu, even though he became the king, he always used to give the respect to his brother like a king only. He said, I will work under you. I'll become king formally, but informally, you will only be king, and I will follow your instruction. So Dhritarashtra was married to Gandhari. Gandhari was the daughter of Gandhar Naresh. Kandhar, it is said that it is Kandhar even in the Afghanistan nowadays. His father was there, living there. And with Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they were Duryodhan and 99 other boys. 100 sons were there. And there was one daughter named Dushala. Here Pandu he married to first Kunti Maharani, and then he was also married to Madri. So he had two wives, Kunti and Madri. With Kunti, he had Yudhishthir, Bhima, and Arjuna, 3 sons, and the Madri, he has Nakul and Sahadev. I'm not going into the detail how these sons were born and all, because we are not talking about the Mahabharata. I just wanted to give you a overall view that why the Mahabharata happened, what was the reason for Mahabharata to take place. So when these children were small, Pandu had got a curse, and because of that curse, he died. And when the Pandu died, Madri, so it was a Vedic culture, Vedic system, that when the husband dies, wife also goes into the fire, and they also become sati. So these two were there. So Kunti wanted to go, and Madri was more attached to Pandu. So Madri said, no, I will go with my husband, and you stay here, because our children are very young, small, who will take care of the children? So Kunti Maharani took this role and responsibility that I will take care of the children and I'll be here. And Madri was she burned herself in the fire of Pandu Maharaj's thing. So now, since Dhritarashtra could not become the king, he had this desire that I wanted to become king. The same desire is transformed to the Duryodhan. So Dhritarashtra wanted that, okay, if I could not become my king, it's fine, but at least I am the elder brother, Pandu is a younger brother, at least my son will become king. I'll have a son who will become the king. And that is sometimes the fathers, they want to see their dream through their children, through their son and daughter. So Dhritarashtra was seeing that dream that my son will become the king. But unfortunately, when both the Gandhari and Kunti was pregnant, then Yudhishthir was born before Duryodhana. And Yudhishthir was more qualified also to become the king. So Yudhishthir became the king, was as a Yuvraj, was given. So that made Duryodhan very upset. Duryodhan, from the very childhood, he was very, very envious to all the 5 brothers. They both were living in the same palace because they both were of the same dynasty. But Duryodhan never used to like. He was very, very envious from the beginning to all the 5 brothers of Pandavas, and he made various attempts to kill them. He gave the poison to the Bhima, and many other things he did. Just he wanted them all to be killed, so that he will be all alone and he can take over the kingdom of Hastinapur. So when again and again it happened, then yes. So many times they tried to kill. So once what happened, so they divided the kingdom. So kingdom was divided into Duryodhana and Pandu. Pandu was given a barren land, and Duryodhana was given the Hastinapur. He was made as a Rajkumar of Hastinapur. Pandu was given a barren land, but Pandu with his all four brothers, this Yudhishthir, all the Pandavas, they made it very beautiful, and that place became more beautiful even than the because Lord was there with them, and with the help of the Lord and with their hard work, they made this place very beautiful, which is when Dhritarashtra was called to see that place, to be there, he saw that place and he got Indraprastha. That was name was Indraprastha. So it was so beautiful, and it was even more beautiful than the Hastinapur, and he got more attracted. And now he thought, I want this also. Because envious nature, when we have greed, we want everything. We want all the good things should be with me. We should be always enjoying, and I should be the one who has every good thing and all. So Duryodhana has this kind of mentality. So he thought, what do I do? How do I take away everything from him? So Duryodhana had a mama, uncle called Shakuni, and Shakuni was very expert in throwing in gambling, in throwing those what we call the dices. And all the dices were in his control. Whatever he said, those dices will do. He had win over those dices. So he asked for a gambling match. It is said that when a Kshatriya is asked for a gambling match, or Kshatriya is asked for a war, or Kshatriya is asked for a woman comes and asks for the protection, Kshatriya cannot deny. He cannot say no. That is a mood of the Kshatriya. So Pandu Maharaj, Yudhishthira accepted that they will all have this gambling, and we all know that Duryodhana and uncle Shakuni, they cheated, they took away everything from them. When they took away everything from them, so this was given as a 12 years of like you go to jungle for 12 years of exile, and 1 year of incognito. 1 year you should be, nobody should see you where you are. So 13 years they were there in the jungle. 12 years they were going to different places, and so many times in the jungle they were attacked by Duryodhana, and so many things happened. Duryodhana tried to kill them many times, but they were always protected by the Lord. And then 1 year they had to live the incognito, where nobody could identify where they are. So they were there with the Virat Naresh kingdom, where they took shelter, and all of them, they took different role, and they be there. In this 12 years, Arjun went to celestial planets and took some more weapons, and he became more equipped with the key, because they knew when we are going back, Duryodhana is not going to give our kingdom back. It was there after 13 years, when they come back, Duryodhana will return their kingdom. But they knew the nature of Duryodhana is not going to give back. So after this all got over, 13 years got over, then they went back and they sent their messenger, now our 13 year is over, you please return my kingdom, and we want to go and start our life in the Indraprastha. So Duryodhana as usual denied, and Dhritarashtra also denied, okay, it's okay, we'll not give. And there was no alternative. Even we know that Krishna went as a messenger, and Krishna tried to tell them, you give at least 5 villages for 5 brothers. At least if you give 5 villages also, we will be happy to have Pandavas will be happy. But Duryodhana was not ready to give anything. And he said, no, I will not give anything. If they want anything, there has to be war. So even though they did not want war directly, Pandavas, they denied many times that we should be getting our share, even less also we are okay. But Duryodhana was such a determined person that he said no. So ultimately the war was declared. Now there were 2 parties, Kauravas and Pandavas. So Kauravas, there were some people, those who were supporting the Kaurava Duryodhana, and some people, they were supporting the Pandavas. So all of them, they assembled in the place called Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, there is a So Kurukshetra is a place close to Delhi. Hastinapur is also close to Delhi, and this is a place. All of them there. This is called a Dharma Kshetra also. And they all assembled, all the people with their all senas, both the senas, they assembled there, they make their camp there. And this was a place where the Mahabharat war was to start. So Mahabharat now, this war had to start within the family. So people had taken different sides. Before the war started, Duryodhan and Arjuna both went to Krishna, and they wanted uh, uh, to take help from Krishna, because everybody was going to take the help, because it was a family war. So anybody outside were close to both, but they had to choose one, whether they want to be on the side of Duryodhan or they want to be in the side of Pandavas. So they knew that Krishna has one Akshauhini Sena and very powerful his Sena is. So they thought, Shakuni Mama told Duryodhan, you should go and take help. And his Sena is very powerful. You go and ask the help from them. So Duryodhana went, and Arjuna also went, because Arjuna needed the mercy also. So both of them went, and we all know that Krishna was sleeping, and Arjuna went and stood on his feet, and Duryodhan went and stood on his head side. So when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna. And then he said, oh, Arjuna, why do, like, you are here, I'm so happy to see you, how can I help you? And then Duryodhan said, no, I'm also here, I also have come. You know that there is going to be war now. I have come here to help, to take help from you. Then Krishna said, okay, but I have seen Arjuna first, and anyway he's your younger brother, so I want to give him first choice what he wants, and then second you will get the choice. But let me be very clear that I'm in the battle, because it's a family battle. I am also from the family, because Krishna was related to Arjuna. Said, I'm not going to pick up any weapon. I'll just be there, but I will not pick up any weapon. But I have won my full army, and one side I'll be alone, not picking any weapon. So Duryodhan, when he heard that, he said, what I'll do with Krishna alone? Army is more important. 100,000 people are there. One Akshauhini Sena is there, and they're so powerful. If I get the army, I'll become so powerful. What Krishna will do all alone? And anyway, he's not going to pick up. But Arjun was very smart and very intelligent. He said, oh, Keshav, I don't want anything from you. I just want you to be with me, because this is a very precious and very important war for me. And I need someone to guide me at all the time. And I request you to become my chariot driver and control my reign of my horses, and control my mind, so that I'll be very like I should be able to give my best to this fight. So Duryodhan became very happy. Wow, Arjuna wanted what he like. I didn't want, so he took that. And then this is how Krishna came into the side of Arjuna, and all his army went to the side of Duryodhana. So there is a very important learning for us here in this life. In this also, when we go to Krishna also, that is what we want. Krishna, you have so much Lakshmi, you give me some Lakshmi. You have so much intelligence, give me some intelligence. You have so much power, give me also some power. You give some of your things to me, so that I also become very powerful, very charismatic, and I have all the wealth and everything. But you, it's okay. You are in temple, fine. I don't want to keep you and be very engaged in your service. People generally say, it's okay. You should not be very much involved in all these things. It's fine. Once in a while I go to temple. Once in a while I do with all these things. But other days I'm very busy. So that is how. But what had happened? Arjuna very intelligently asked, no, Krishna, I want you. If you are with me, I know nothing will be like, nobody can do any bad to me. I need your support and guidance. So Krishna is within our heart. He is sitting in our heart. If we look at Krishna and try to take help from Krishna, direct, Krishna, please give me intelligence to do the right thing in my life. Give me intelligence to always guide me on the right path. Then our life will be very happy and blissful. Rather, we always want things from Krishna and keep Krishna away. So this is a very historical banyan tree which was there, and under this tree only this it is said that this historic Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So still that place is there in the Kurukshetra, which is around 100-120 kilometers away from Delhi, and there is a temple. This Parthasarthi temple is there, and this vriksha is there where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So this place is called Jyotisar. So now battle had to begin, and battle had lot of things like different kind of formation and like beautiful formation. Actually, there was a snake formation, there is a flower formation, there is a bird formation. All this army will walk and it will look like bird on the top, so that nobody can enter. So they've had a different kind of formation to protect, so that the enemy cannot enter into their arena. So we will see a little bit. Kaurava had 11 Akshohani army and Pandava had 7 Akshohani.
अब तो लड़ाई
And
आ गया.
Krishna. So 1 Akshohani is how much? The 1 Akshohani has actually 1,09,650 infantry, the people, those who walk on the foot and fight. 65,600 is cavalry, which is on the horse, they are there. Then 21,870, those who are on the elephant and fight. And 21,870, those who are fight on the chariot. So all this together, they make 1 Akshohani Sena. And they form in all this like that, they had 11 Akshohani Sena from the side of Kauravas and 7 Akshohani Sena from the side of Pandavas. So this is how they were there. They had arranged themselves in the 2 sides. So now the chapter 1 begins with the Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjay. So we will see in this chapter, there are 46 verses. 46 shlokas been spoken in this chapter. Each chapter will give you some overview of the chapter. First shloka is spoken by the Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjay. And then 2nd to 11, Duryodhana's fear and his diplomacy in describing the armies. He will describe the armies of both the side, his side and the other side, because we'll discuss why he was diplomatic and why he had a fear. Then 12 to 19, blowing of the conch shell. So before the war begins, the conch shell has been blown, so that people are now aware that now the war is going to start. So that blowing of the conch shell was there before. And then after blowing of the conch shell, Arjuna requested Krishna to go through the middle and see the army again. So this is 20 to 27 shlokas. Describe about Arjuna observes the armies, and then after seeing the armies, Arjuna gives the reason for not fighting. 28 to 46. This chapter is also called Arjun Vishad Yoga. Vishad means he was very, very sad, and he was so sad that he decided not to fight. The fight we discussed, for 13 years they've been waiting for this day. When will we have this, our kingdom back? Arjuna had prepared himself for all these 13 years. Krishna sent him to different demigods to take the different weapons from them, learn different art of military from everyone. And he was preparing Arjuna and the Pandavas for this, because everybody knew that this war is going to happen sometime, because they knowing the mentality of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So Pandavas, they were preparing for this war for 13 years. And now suddenly, by seeing the army, observing the armies, Arjuna became so vulnerable, and he said, and he gives reason, we'll see all this through the chapter, for not fighting. So this is how the chapter is there, the first chapter. We'll see how much we can do today. Today already we have only 15 minutes left. Let's see how much we can cover today. So first is shloka, Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjay. So all this fight was happening. They all decided to go to Kurukshetra. So Dhritarashtra was a blind person. He could not go, but he had a desire to see what is happening. So Vyasadeva that time came again, and he said, I want to give you the vision. And you can, from sitting here only, you can see whatever is happening in the battlefield. But Dhritarashtra said, I have not seen my children when they were small, when they were learned to walk, then when they practiced the different kind of this, then they became that they were Rajkumar, nothing I've seen. How can I see them dying now in the battlefield? So I don't have the courage. So I don't want this vision. You give this vision to my chariot driver, Sanjay. Chariot driver used to be a very special person. It looks like a chariot driver, but chariot driver was a person who was always controlling the emotion of the person who is fighting. So if the person has any, he is the one who will control everything. So this Sanjay was given this divine vision by the Vyasadeva, and sitting in his palace, Dhritarashtra could see that through the eyes of Sanjay, that what is happening into the battlefield. So Dhritarashtra, once they reached there, Dhritarashtra made an inquiry. What inquiry he made? Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavah mamakaha pandavaschaiva kimma kuruvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So now it shows that Dhritarashtra was blind. He could not see, and he was also blind through the spiritual knowledge. He didn't have like a vision. And here we see the mood of Dhritarashtra. He says here, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. So both the Kurus and the Pandavas were having the same dynasty. They were from the same family. But here Dhritarashtra says, Mamaka, my sons and the sons of Pandu. So he made a clear distinction. There are two. There are my sons. Actually, it was expected that Dhritarashtra, being the eldest of the family, he should have taken care of both his sons and the sons of his brothers also, since the brother was not there. As the brother had given all the time respect to the Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra made this distinction that my children and the children of the Pandu, what they do. So that is what he asked. So it shows the mentality of the Dhritarashtra, that how he was having a very mean mentality, and he was distinguishing between his children and his brother's children. So why he asked this question? Dhritarashtra knew that he had given the permission to go for a war. There is going to be a war, and there is all of them have assembled over there for a war only. What they will do? When you are assembled for the war, you will fight. You both will start fighting. But he asked this question, what did they do? What they are doing? What is happening over there? So what was the thing? Because Dhritarashtra was very, very fearful. Fearful for what? Fearful of losing. Fearful because this place was a Kurukshetra, was a Dharma Kshetra. And he was knowing that my sons are on the side of Adharma. Pando's children are at the side of Dharma. So definitely this place is going to play a very important role, Dharma Kshetra. So under the influence of Dharma, maybe my children will give up the fighting. They will say, okay, I don't want to fight, because the place will have also some impact. And they will say that, anyway, Yudhishthira is my elder brother. Maybe the mind of Duryodhan will change. And he didn't want Duryodhan to change his mind. He wanted to have the war. So he had this, his desire was that his sons should win the war. His desire was that they should win, but at the same time he was doubtful that because he knew the power of both the parties. So he had a doubt that his children will. So he had a very mixed feeling. He desired that their children should become the king, but he was very doubtful at the same time. He was fearful also because of the place, but he had a little bit hope. What hope he had? He didn't want his children to lose that. Or give up the fighting, but he had this little bit hope that maybe under the influence of the place, because the Pandavas are very great-hearted, they are very compassionate, they will see, okay, I'm giving it up. Anyway, we are not fighting, we don't want the kingdom, we are not so attached to the kingdom. Okay, we are giving this kingdom to the Duryodhan as it is, without having any fight. This was the only hope he had. Because he knew, he wanted that his children should become, but he had no hope. But he had hope that maybe by fighting they will never win. He knew that. But he had hope that maybe under the influence of the place, this Pandavas will give up his share, and they will generously give this kingdom to the Kauravas. So he had this mixed feeling in the mind. And that is the reason he was very anxious to know what is happening. And he asked this question, what did they do? So what we learn here is material attachment causes anxiety and make one blind to dharma. So this is the lesson we learn here. Then when we are excessively, Dhritarashtra was a king. As a king, he should be very equal to all the party, not only to his children and his brother's children. Even the king should do the justice to all the citizens. That is the role of the king. When we are sitting in the position of a king, this is your duty to make the justice. But because Dhritarashtra was so much attached, he has excessively and overly attached to his son Duryodhan, that he used to become blind internally also, not to see what is right, what is wrong. And under the influence, so many times it was told to him by the Bhishma Pitama, by Dronacharya, that this is right, this is wrong. Duryodhan is doing wrong. You should just not listen to Duryodhan. He will hear everyone, but at the same time, he will do what Duryodhan likes. So this was his overly attachment. And what happened? He became blind to dharma or his duty. He could not perform his duty because of the excessive attachment. So this happens to us also when we are too much excessively attached to something in our life. We are not able to perform our duty very nicely. Now, 2nd to 11 verses, mein Duryodhana's fear and his diplomacy is describing the army. So we'll see here 2nd verse. Sanjay uvacha drishtva tu pandavanikam yudham duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. So Sanjay was very intelligent. He knew the mindset of Dhritarashtra, that he has a fear that Duryodhan should not compromise, he should not give up the war under the influence of the Dharma Kshetra. So he knew that. So now he wanted to answer, he wanted to give the answer to the Dhritarashtra questions. How is giving the answer? He's saying, Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, the king Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So he said, see, your son is not going to give up. He's not that kind that he'll be very emotional and he'll start following dharma suddenly and he'll give up everything. He's not like that. He's still there in the battlefield. And he is, after seeing the army, what had happened actually, Prabhupada writes in the purport sometime that Duryodhana was very diplomatic. Actually, when Duryodhana saw the army, he became very scared. Because he thought that 13 years these Pandavas they were in the jungle. When you are alone, when you are not meeting people, when you are away from everything, you don't have many friends. So who are going to support? He thought it is going to be very easy to win over these Pandavas because I have been ruling for 13 years and they were there in the jungle for 13 years. So I have all the friends and I have everybody is ready to support me. And now hardly there'll be anyone to support them because they had lost their connection for so many years. But when he saw that 7 Akshauhani people were there also, and they were all arranged and they were the great fighters over there, so Duryodhana became a little bit like very, he got a shock that, wow, we have this many people over there and they are so strong also and we are going to fight them. So he got some kind of fear. So to overcome his fear, because he thought that if I show my fear, then all the people, because if the leader is fearful, others also will become fearful. Oh, I'm going to fight. It's better we should not give up the fighting things and we should go, and still there is a time, we should stop this war and all. So to overcome this thing, he went to his teachers, like Dronacharya, and spoke the following words. Pashetam Panduputrana Acharya Mahatim Chamam Yunam Drupada Putrena Tavashishena Dhimata. What did he say? He says, O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. So Pandava's side, the chief controller of the army was Bhishma Pitama, and from the Kaurava side, it was Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna was the son of Drupad. Dronacharya and Drupad had a fight before, and because actually Dronacharya and Drupad were studying in the same Gurukul, and they were very close friends. Even though Dronacharya was a very poor Brahmana and this Drupad was a king, but that time, out of some emotion, one day Drupad said, when I become king, I will give half my kingdom to you. You are my best friend. I'll give my half kingdom to you. This one was not very like thing. It's okay. They were all small children. So then they studied there and they came back to their home. And Dronacharya was very, very poor. He got married and he had a son, Ashwathama. Yes, but he had nothing to give him. He had so poor that he didn't have even milk. So one day he thought, my King Drupad is my friend, and he had promised me to give him half kingdom. At least I'll go, and I don't want the half kingdom. At least I go and ask for some charity so that I can feed my family, my wife and children nicely. So he went to Drupad Maharaj's kingdom and he asked for a cow. That you give me a cow, I'll have a cow, and then I can maintain the cow and I can take care of my family and I can give milk to my son. At least I need a cow. So Drupad that time very arrogantly said, and he said, I'm your friend. You had promised me to give your half kingdom. So he said, what you're talking? Friendship is always between the equals. You are not equal. And how do you think that I'm going to give you the thing? You just get out from here. I don't want to give you anything. So Dronacharya felt very insulted. He came back, and then when the Pandu sons and all this Dhritarashtra's sons, all these Kauravas and Pandavas, when they were learning all the arts under the guidance of Dronacharya. So after they finished their teachings, then they said, we want to give some Guru Dakshina. So Dronacharya said, okay, because he had this rivalry in the mind that he had insulted me. So he said, you go and defeat the King Drupad and bring him as a prisoner to me. So first the Kauravas tried to defeat the Drupad, but they could not do it. They came just empty-handed. And then Dronacharya felt more insulted. And that time the Pandavas went. And all this Arjun, he went and he caught Drupad. He defeated Drupad and caught Drupad and brought it to Dronacharya and said, see, I have brought your enemy to you. So that time, since he was defeated by this, all his kingdom had become the Pandus. The Pandu said, I want to give all this to my guru. And he gave all this kingdom. So Dronacharya, like very sarcastically, he said, I am returning your kingdom. I am giving it back to you. You did not give me anything, but I am giving it back to you. So Drupad felt very, very insulted. How could he do this to me? He was a king. So he did a yagya. And he prayed that I want a son who will become the cause to kill this Brahmana. So from this, he made a yagya, and from the yagya kunda, this Drishtadumna was born. So the whole birth of the Drishtadumna was to kill the Dronacharya. But when the Drishtadumna was born, since the Dronacharya was a very good, like very well known teacher, this Drupad brought his son, that he said, you teach all this archery and all this military skill to my son also. Dronacharya knew that this son is going to kill him in the future. But he, being a Brahman and a teacher, he could not refuse. He said, okay, I will give all the training to your son also. So this son of Drupad, Drishtadumna, was trained by Dronacharya, but the purpose of his life was to kill Dronacharya. So Duryodhan wanted to remind that, see, you made such a big mistake. You trained this son, his Drupad's son. You knew that he's going to kill you, but you still train his son. Now you can see he is standing in front of you and he is the chief of the army over there. So he wanted to give some insight, some like excitement to Dronacharya that, see, this is how he is here. So what we learn from here, when we do not have humility and tolerance, we start blaming others in our fearful or frustrated state. So Duryodhan was not having any kind of humility. He had no respect. He did not went to Dronacharya out of respect. Okay, he's my teacher. I should go before the war start. I should take his blessings. And then this is what the Pandavas did. All the Pandavas, they went all to everyone and they took their blessings. Oh, now we want to start the fight. We need the blessing of you. But Duryodhana did not have all these etiquettes. So he, out of his, like, he has a grudge. And in his fearful state, he wanted, if I excite Dronacharya, he'll be killing, because he knew that Dronacharya is very, very attached to all the Pandavas, especially the Arjunas. And even though they're all fighting with me, but their heart is with the Pandavas only. So he wanted to excite them. Okay, this is what you made a mistake. And you are blaming, he was trying to blame them. And so that they fight with more anger. The time, do you have some time, or we should stop it here? Lata, what do you say? Hare Krishna, Lata. Okay, 1 or 2. This is only the describing the army, not much here. Text 4. Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjun Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatha. So he's describing. Here is in the army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima, Arjuna, great fighter like Yuyudhana, Virat and Drupad. So again he took the name of Drupad and he's trying to describe the army of Arjuna. See who all are there, who are all assembled there to fight against you. Out of fear, he was trying to describe the army. Then he says, Drishtaketu Chekitana, Kashi Rajascha Viryavan, Purujit Kunti Bhojascha, Shaibyascha Narapungava. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibya. So all those fighters, he takes the name, they are all fighters over there. Yudhumanyuscha Vikranta, Uttamaujascha Viryavan, Subhadra Draupadayescha, Sarvaeva Maharatha. There are many fighters, Yudhamanyu, the very powerful, Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the son of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot drivers. So he says he is trying to describe the army of the other side. Asmakam tu visishtaye.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
We'll stop it here now.
Yeah, we'll stop it.
So now he had described the army of Pandavas. From the 7th, he will describe the army of his side. We are also not less. Don't think that we are less. We are also having the great warriors with us. So he very diplomatically, he is trying to show that he is not fearful, even though there are great warriors. And first of all, he wanted to understand that there are great warriors. Don't undermine them. And the second, he was also wanting to give some moral boost to his side. We also have the great warriors among our side. So this is how he'll describe the warriors of his side. So we'll stop it here.
But you took very good class, very fantastic. I'm so proud of you, really. You're so wonderful. So exactly, you did it with just like somebody seeing a video showed like that. Manasa Rupena. Really, I'm so proud of you, really. Fantastic. So if I get so many students from here, you can accommodate more than 100 because already today 82 has come. How much you can take up to 100 only or more?
100. This Zoom class we have 100.
So ज़्यादा लोग नहीं ला सकते economy. Yeah. Very good. Excellent. What is your number? This I am not because somebody want to go through the code. No, you have got only the link. I don't have the number. Passcode is there.
Yeah, passcode is there. The link is there. I'll
link
share the link and passcode, Prabhu.
Yeah,
I am doing it on YouTube also. So if there are more people, then they watch on
YouTube. Okay.
Mataji, can you share the link for the YouTube? Because I missed today's session. I joined late and I want to have it from the start. So can you share the YouTube link?
Yes, we'll share.
Nobody should miss Mataji's class. It's extremely good. You become worldwide famous. It's about Bhagavatam karna pa. Do Bhagavatam also, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, all three.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your blessing. We have learned everything from you only, Prabhu.
You are the best. I can understand. Ecstatically bola aur andar mein bhavna tha. You had so much bhavna. You are not knowing that you are in Dubai or Sharjah. You are in Golok Vrindavana. So wonderful.
Prabhu is very kind and he always inspires us to do the more and more services.
So you are very good. तो मुझे भेज देना आपका नंबर वगैरह.
Yeah.
So I will, और
Yes.
YouTube का भी
So
लिंक
we
भेज
have
देना.
2 days. We've just started yesterday. So every week now we'll be having Friday and Saturdays.
Oh, only 2 days, huh? Okay.
Yeah, because everybody is not so free for every day class. So we have kept for 2 days.
I thought all 7 days you'll keep. Then you can finish
Now
fast.
you come and inspire everyone to have 7 days.
Yeah. 1 घंटे में कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना. 1 hour only, no? Because
Yes.
you don't know when the death will come. You don't know. You know, age is not a matter. कभी भी हो सकता है. So सुबह से शीघ्रम. 1 घंटा आपको. You can give 1 hour, no? You can give every day 1 hour, no?
Yeah, I can give. I am free, Prabhu.
So I will make everybody do it. Nothing wrong. 1 घंटे में क्या फर्क पड़ता है? So much time they watch TV, this, that and all, no? 1 घंटा माता जी का देखने का बस.
Yes. Prabhu's inspiration.
You will
Yes.
do. Then you can
Yeah,
finish
we'll
in
start
six
and we'll
months.
see how it progresses
Ah.
and slowly. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhu, for joining. And I'm so happy that you are here.
I'm so happy. I'll tell Guru Maharaj that you're doing so good. I'll call and tell him.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
So
Thanks,
anybody has
everybody.
any question? Prabhu is also here to answer your question. If you have any question. Anybody has any question? Then we have Prabhu also today to answer.
I think your
Hare Krishna,
son and
Hare Krishna, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna. This is Umesh here. Can I?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. This is Umesh here.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yeah. So the thing is, I will just request if we keep it at least 2 or 3 classes, because we all are new learners. It may sound easy for the people who had been practicing Bhagavatam for decades. But for a new
Yeah.
learner, if you keep it once or twice in a week, it gives us time to revisit those learnings.
Yes.
You know, and get aside.
Thanks.
So I think I understand ki the more early and the lifespan is short, but at least whatever we learn should be perfect, rather than in a
Yes.
hurry of completing it is also the
Very
golden
true,
rule
very
of
true.
learning. So it's my humble request if you can.
Yes,
And
I
Mataji, very nicely you have done it. You have shared the link with me. Again, I know it's an extra thing, but a humble request, you can share those YouTube links again. So whenever we want, we can go and revisit the learnings throughout the week.
Sure, Prabhu.
That's all. Thanks.
Prabhu.
Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
I
we'll put
agree
the
with you, Umesh
YouTube.
Prabhu. I agree with you, Umesh Prabhu. What he's telling is correct. Some
Correct.
bhar dega to they won't be able to revise also. They have to study
Yeah,
also.
Abhi, many of them are very new to this program.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let them go slow. Then once they are ready, then we will have more.
What they should
That's
do
the
next
reason we
time
have started with 2 classes.
when they come next week, no, they should learn the next 4 or 5 words so that they know that what you're going to talk, they have read it in the Prabhupada's book, so they can ask questions also like that.
Yes. Yes. Actually, that is the ideal way. Before coming to the class, read
पढ़ के
some
आने का.
2-3 shlokas, so that then you will know what to ask question, what you have read, whether, and then your understanding becomes more clear. So it is just, we will do maximum 3-4 shlokas. So at least, and you have a week time to read those 4-5 shlokas. So if you read and come, then it is much useful.
Mataji, I have one more request. It is better we also learn how to recite the shlokas. You know, the way we recite is completely Greek and Latin, actually, looking at what we read in English. So when we are able to recite after you, it will really
So
help us.
are you any, sir, not all, if who all are ready, you give your request to admin in the group. We have a shloka recitation classes also where we teach how to recite shloka.
Oh, yeah.
We will have it separately one day for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, where we will teach shloka how to recite. So after few classes, you will learn how to recite.
Yes, Mataji, whatever the 10 slokas, whatever we are covering in that week, so those 10 slokas, we can make them recite.
Yeah.
Because so that is weekly
one
one.
day separately, one day not within this class, because this is 1 hour is anyway, it's very, very tight.
Yeah,
But,
separate day, Mataji, separate.
One
Another
separate day we can have a class, and those who are interested can join there. Not everybody has to join. And then we have a very nice shloka teacher, and she comes and teaches how to recite shloka.
That would be really helpful, Mataji.
Sure, Padma. We'll work on it.
I think your son and daughter-in-law should also attend. They'll be busy.
Yes. Yes.
And when we will open the group for some time tomorrow, I don't want to open it in the evening because some are saying too many messages. Open it tomorrow. You can just put your views and when you want to have this recitation session, which day and the preferable time. Time will be after 7 o'clock Indian time. So you can put that suggestion also so that we can decide the day, right, Mataji?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before, like, what is your expectation or also from reading Bhagavad Gita? If you have something in your mind and you want you have some suggestions to give, so please be open and try to give. Even though the group is closed, you can still message to the admin. Your views you can message to the admin so that we will get your messages to work on.
We are closing the group because we don't want too many forwards.
Yeah.
Because of that only we are just closing the group. But we will open once in a week so you can just express your views and everything, any suggestions. Always welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So I had real good time with you to all last 2 days and then look forward to see you next Friday again, same time.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
As usual.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Sit and
Hari
treat and Haribol
Bol.
for Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare
Haribol.
Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, I'm taking Viram.
Yeah,
Mataji.
thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Send me all the details. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, I'll.
Radha Krishna and Mati Rasta. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhu is very, very senior devotee. So it's very kind of him that he was here. Okay. So we'll close the group for today and we'll look forward for your comments, suggestions. Hare Krishna. So this is not, you may feel like that I'm only speaking, but you're all free to come talk, give your suggestions, give your any realization. So we want to have this as an interactive program. So feel free.